You're not listening to the Modern and Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, look, man, I gotta give it to scientists. Y'all some smart dumb motherfuckers. Anybody into science, y'all some smart dumb motherfuckers. I say you smart because you using the technology to figure out some shit we already know. But I say you dumb because you adding a bunch of other shit to it that ain't really is about. Now, you probably look at me and have a basic characteristic about me, which is okay. But I'm finna teach your ass about a particle. Because a particle is something you created. You see what I'm saying? But when I say something like that, you think I'm about to be pseudo or things of that nature, which I'm not. I'm finna just make sense. That's Archangel Uriel. Now, check this out. What is a particle? Now, particles are thoughts. Particles are frequencies, right? Now, if you talk to a scientist, they're gonna break down a whole scenario on how what's a particle, and it's gonna be way different than mine. But I'm finna explain how it's not different, right? Now, a particle is a thought, right? So we can say it's a frequency, we can say it's a space, we can say it's an idea, we can say it's a spirit, whatever. Now, a thought. Now, it starts off, the person who's given a thought, right? It starts off as a proton, right? Then whatever the thought is about is another proton, but it's going to appear as the neutron because it's opposite to the initial giver. So it's always a give and receive. So I'm trying to let you understand this on the smallest mechanism, right? So, alright. So, when the photon and the neutron come together, which this is always happening on the most subatomic level or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So the thought gave off, or the initial thought that's already there, and a lot of times it's going to be other people's thoughts and things bouncing off, which is doing this, right? The moment the proton neutron does that, which is ain't nothing but positive and negative, right? It creates an electron, right? Which ain't nothing but electricity, a charge. Once the two law of attraction, once the two frictions come together, it creates a charge. So it creates electricity. So all that was a light being emitted, the energy being seen into the realm of reality that the clash went on. So basically, it's like the proton is positive. We could say it's yang and it gives off, and we could say the neutron is yin and it receives, right? And this, that, and the third. Boom. They come together. When they come together, it creates a spark, electricity, and that electricity is an electron, right? Now, what's happening here is when a scientist want to observe this, right? What they're actually observing to be calling particles is their own thought. This is why I'm calling them smart dumb niggas. So when they have a thought to see what something is, the thought, the actual space, the actual frequency that they're emitting is something that they call a particle, but it's the actual thought itself. See, when you think of a lot of things, you get the idea in your head. But imagine thinking of what is a thought, right? But say you're in a scientific lab with a bunch of people and y'all got other stuff in front of y'all that's basically thoughts, but y'all are studying these things, not knowing y'all just studying the thought. So y'all trying to think about how to find a thought subconsciously. So actually, when you observe a portal, it was a wave. But your thought of that wave, a wave is awareness, right? So it's going to be a circumstance or a situation that you're in. The moment you try to observe it, the way your thought that you try to observe it, that's what becomes what scientists call as the particle. But it's really you observing the thought. That's a thought. You took one idea out of the whole wave of what you're paying attention to. The moment you paid attention to a detail, a singular, a certain spot on the wave, right? All you doing is pointing out your thought, your idea about the whole wave. So that's what you're gonna see. So if you're in a science lab and y'all been thinking for years and thinking of shit, that's what y'all created. So that's what I say, y'all smart, but dumb as fuck because y'all don't know that's what y'all actually doing. So that's what a proton is. A proton is when you actually, in the physical form, you actually see the electron, neutron come together to create an electron. And now that spark of light from the electricity, that's the proton. That you not the proton, but that's the motherfucking the motherfucking proton that you see when the photons, electrons come together and shit. So when you understand that, now you got to understand the God particle and all that shit don't even make sense, really. It makes sense to your idea, but who said your idea made sense? You see what I'm saying? So basically, scientists just took a particle is nothing but a thought. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not a photon, but a particle. So basically, what a particle is when a photon, positive charge, an output of a thought, come together to a receiving of a thought, a realm of reality, a thought about something, right? That's a neutron. Then when that photon and neutron, positive, negative, come together, right, it creates an electron, a spark, and that can be seen in a realm of reality. And that's what they call a particle. That little spark that's seen. So you observe the thought. And now they trying to combine two thoughts together to see what happens. When you do that every day, what happens when you clash with someone else's thoughts? It causes friction, right? What happens? So that's like a person you telling me that you might be a scientist right now and you trying to ban weed, and I'm about to light a blunt right in front of you, and I just told you some shit you need to learn. So what's really going on here? You see what I'm saying? Now, I highly doubt there ain't no scientist who didn't think about what I just thought about. You see what I'm saying? I highly doubt that. And if that is the case, then something's wrong. You see what I'm saying? So you got scientists in the labs spending billions of dollars that could have went to people like us, right? For them to use all that money to put in machines to microscopically point out a thought, point out their own thought. Then they're going to get many particles because there's many thoughts that they putting into it. And there's probably many scientists in the lab working on this shit at the same time. So they coming up with many particles because they all got many thoughts. And they all trying to observe they thought. Subconsciously, though, they don't know that's what they doing. Shit crazy. And you know, they got this God particle out. And all they doing is creating a verse, which is conflict. So, hey, you came up with something we already know. Hey, we live in a universe. We live in a verse of conflict. Hey, one of the single most things that started this shit was conflict. Hey, with the positive and negative charge. Hey, you came up with something we already know. But here's the problem. You spent billions of dollars, aka a whole lot of currency in the 3D realm of reality to come up with that conclusion. You see the problem? Do you see the problem? We need to take that money, those resources, those energy packets that's receiving all that currency, and put it to what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? Not what they got going on. And we need to make they a part of we. That's the goal. We need to start making these people who are in these positions part of our agenda. So we take all the source and we become the source. The motherfuckers need us to know anything. You see what I'm saying? Flight boss, bitch. Damn, air, goddamn.